win here against Justin.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the new school versus the old school. Justin has plenty of accomplishments to his name with at least 2 regional wins.
Double Drizzile on the prizes, that can hurt.
Yeah, positioning may help, but drawing prize cards early is not what Urshifu does, so we'll see.
All right, now we did see a similar matchup yesterday. Again, Parker played against Tord, who was playing the Rapid Strike Urshifu deck. Kyle, what do you think are some of the keys to this matchup?
The timing of prize cards is going to be crucial. You want to make sure that you can get the most out of this Fiery Wrath attack from your Galarian Moltres at opportune times, and also trying to sneak in that fighting weakness. If you can work that around, maybe find an opportunity where Dunsparce isn't available, that can be pretty big against an Arceus deck.
Yep, and one of the big tech cards that's been seeing play recently is, of course, that Hoopa V. It's got that ability where it can be Darkness type and Psychic type at the same time, and it's one of the biggest counters to Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, which is weak to Psychic. So that's another one of these big cards. If Parker's able to power up Hoopa V and get a clean hit off on a Rapid Strike Urshifu, I mean, it's a one-hit knockout, and this is kind of what the matchup can focus around. How quickly can the Rapid Strike player deal with that Hoopa V? Because if it gets to attack multiple times, it's just going to take so many prizes.
Yeah, and 220 is such an awkward number as well. We saw Tord when he's playing against this Hoopa V, he had to bring a regular basic Hoopa into play, hit it for 90, and try to soften it up for a knockout on the following turn. And Justin's going to have to do something similar, but he also plays a Celebi, which is his answer to that. So if we see the spicy Celebi come out, that'd be pretty clean.
The amazing Celebi, yes.
I thought it was spicy.
All right, so a pretty mediocre turn from Justin, but honestly, this is kind of what the opening turns look like for the Urshifu deck a lot. Just level ball for a Sobble and pass. This is one of the decks that actually doesn't mind going second because you want to use Keep Calling a lot to just get more Sobble and Rapid Strike Urshifu on your bench. So that may look like a horrendous start, but it certainly may be, but it could also just be an average start. Parker on the other side, playing the quick ball, throws away the pass to the peak, knowing that he's not up against something like a Mew VMAX deck or something that would really rely on abilities like that. At least abilities from Pokemon with rule boxes. And I think this is pretty much all you would want as long as he's got an energy attachment this turn. This is the perfect start for Parker. Gets some Arceus down, gets the Hoopa V down. Hey, draw 7 cards with the Professor's Research. Why not?
Draw 3 Arceus V-Star. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, a little unfortunate that the double turbo wasn't found. If you were able to charge up that Hoopa V on this opening turn, that'd be phenomenal. But taking the classic approach, just getting that energy down so that you can have the turn 2 Arceus V-Star attacking is going to be just fine here, it looks like.
All right, back over to Justin. So, Kyle, what do you think Justin's plan will be for this turn? Obviously, there's no Rapid Strike Urshifu V down. So what is his game plan going to look like for this turn?
Yeah, the Galarian Moltres in the active spot is certainly pretty awkward. You would like to think that Justin will end this turn with maybe a Keep Calling, just get some Pokemon into play so that you have more opportunities to eventually find those Drizziles in more opportune spots than this.
Yeah, we do see just a scoop up net. Justin does have Drizzile in hand and was debating, should I even use Shady Dealings? What am I even going to grab? And decides, no, I'm just going to keep calling anyway. No need to waste additional resources maybe searching for a trainer card that is probably just going to be a scoop up net anyway. So may as well just go straight into the Keep Calling and set myself up for the next turn. Again, this is not the kind of fast pace you would expect in the current standard format. This is one of the slower decks, certainly, where you can use turns to just keep calling, search for 3 basic Pokemon. Brings me back to the days of Dunsparce, strike and run. But now things are going to pick up right here with Arceus V-Star, which has been the star of the standard format since the Sword and Shield Brilliant Stars expansion came out. One of the, I mean, just all-around best cards we've seen in a while. Got Starbirth. It's the V-Star power you can use once per game. Lets you search for any 2 cards, put them into your hand, got an excellent attack in Trinity Nova and, oh yeah, 280 HP as well. It's got a lot going for it.
Yeah, being able to take knockouts, accelerate energies, take whatever you want, and continue to be on the field because of your hit points is always going to be good, and that's why over half the field right now is using it.
Yep, so Parker is using that V-Star power right now, searching for 2 cards. Just go straight into your hand. I have to imagine that Parker will be going for a Trinity Nova this turn, but is there any consideration to like boss's orders? What are you trying to do here?
Yeah, I don't know if we're really concerned about the Urshifu right now. I think taking the knockout on the active seems pretty fine. The question for me is going to be, do we see 3 energies go to a Hoopa? Oh, because that can get scary. If you play into the amazing Celebi, which is something that Parker might not be expecting, that can be very dangerous.
Yeah, we saw Parker there opt to grab Professor's Research off the Starbirth, maybe thinking that Justin has a weak hand because, I mean, obviously he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
We know that Justin has been holding on to Drizzile and does have access to Shady Dealings, but Parker did have to throw away a boss's orders when playing that Professor's Research, so maybe Justin kind of playing possum a bit may have influenced Parker's decision. Maybe he could have gone for a Marnie instead, but opted to go for, I'm just going to Professor's Research, not give my opponent a new hand, because I still want to draw cards, though.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Justin does. He gives away 0 information as he's playing, and he's also very comfortable playing from behind. So we're going to continue to see that style of play from him.
Okay, interestingly enough, we see an Ultra Ball. I haven't seen Dunsparce yet. See the Manaphy taken? And no Dunsparce on the bench quite yet. So this Arceus V-Star does have a weakness to fighting. This is a situation where Rapid Strike Urshifu V can just use 100 Furious Blows for the knockout. It's a spot where you certainly don't want to evolve to the V-Max because it's just going to get knocked out by the Hoopa V. But it is an opportunity to get this 2-prize knockout with just your normal Rapid Strike Urshifu V.
Yeah, this is almost a bait. You'd have to think. It says, yeah, I don't really need this Arceus V-Star anymore. If you have to attach and commit 3 energies to this Urshifu V, then so be it. I've got the Hoopa ready to respond right now, and it's gonna have to be an amazing Celebi to handle this Hoopa V at this point.
Yeah, but I think first things first, we're gonna see the Raihan onto a Rapid Strike Urshifu V. So you get the energy from the discard pile. It does not count as your energy attachment for the turn. And then we will certainly see a Rapid Strike energy come down this turn. Can provide the 2 fighting energy needed for 100 Furious Blows. And again, no Dunsparce, so we're going to be hitting for weakness here, and that will be a clean knockout on the Arceus V-Star. So at this point for Justin, you can kind of see how the game can play out. We see the knockout here on the Arceus V-Star, and you have to assume that Hoopa V is going to come up next. And then, like you said, there's that Celebi that can come in for the response knockout. And then all of a sudden, both players are going to be sitting at 2 prize cards, and it's going to be a race to the finish.
Yeah, that's where you like to have the Galarian Moltres come down and do a lot of work for you, potentially steal wins out of nowhere, especially when you have those 1 prizers as the only available Pokemon. You end up having that additional turn, which is something that it never looks like Justin's going to have, but he continues to find for himself.
And in this situation, we do see Shady Dealings from Justin, grabbing a Quick Ball. In this kind of a situation, you know, even though the players have been around each other for a while, there are still some tech cards that some people don't know about. Like, Parker probably knew that Justin was playing Rapid Strike Urshifu, might not have known that there's a Celebi in this deck. So in this kind of a situation, if you're Justin, are you waiting as long as possible to not reveal the information and just slam it down the turn you need it? Or at this point, are you just like, they probably know and I can play it down sooner or reveal it sooner?
Yeah, I think you still try to hold as much information as possible. Even the grass energy can be something that would give away a lot of information. It doesn't seem likely that a Beetroll's popping out of this list right now, but you know, maybe. So, but yeah, I would try to hold that information. At least the Drizzile's already in play, so that means Inteleon can Shady Dealings and probably get the cards you need. But we'll have to see if Parker's able to have an answer, and it looks like already setting up a pretty nice one in that Arceus V-Star on the bench.
We did see Primate Wisdom used right there, and I think Parker had a Marnie in hand Maybe I saw that wrong, but we're just going to see the Shadow Impact taking the 2-prize knockout, going down to 3 prize cards for Parker. And now this is going to be the big turn. Will we see that amazing Celebi? You do need the Celebi Choice Belt and a Grass Energy and a way to get into the active spot. And with the weakness, Hoopa V, it's a Darkness type. It's weak to Grass type instead of the normal fighting that we've been used to over the years. So that's where this tech card comes in. It just draws the choice belt.
Rips it. So clean. Yeah, you can see the debate over, do I start with the Mew or start with the Drizzile? I think if the other Drizzile wasn't in hand, it would have been a little simpler, just because you're going to use Scoop Up Net, and then maybe you get to reuse that Drizzile. But it's honestly, he's got plenty of resources here, and it looks like this should be a fairly simple turn. Level Ball and Energy Search should be able to find everything that he needs, and in combination with a Scoop Up Net, going to be able to bring out this amazing Celebi.
All right, going to kick things off with the Shady Dealings, though. Search for any 2 trainer cards, put them into your hand. And yeah, Celebi does have the Energy Press attack. Does 30 damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So right now you look at it, it's 90 damage. You add in the Choice Belt, that's 120 damage. Times 2 for weakness, that's 240, and that's going to knock out Hoopa V if he can pull it all off. This is one of the funny parts of the Pokemon TCG. You have these attacks that look very unassuming. It's like, yeah, this only does 90. It's like, oh, it does 30 more, and then times 2, and oh, yeah, 1 energy is just a knockout.
Right. Justin not going to level ball for the amazing Celebi just yet. Going to instead bring the Mew up. And I'm going to look at Parker's face during this because I need to. Okay, we got a little head nod. I think he understands what's happening.
There it is. Beautiful, amazing rare Celebi here. Got the nice rainbow swirl going on. One of some of the coolest looking cards coming out of that Vivid Voltage expansion. Yeah, this is, I think, one of the beautiful parts of the Pokemon TCG. Weakness is a big factor in the game. It can go both ways. Sometimes it feels like it's unfair when there's weakness, but it also opens the door for things like this, where a Pokemon that normally wouldn't see a whole lot of play finds this very, very specific usage. And as metagames get more developed, you can start adding these cards into your deck and taking advantage of really strange scenarios that start to pop up frequently.
Justin going with the rescue carrier. That's an interesting inclusion in this list, but you can think about all of the Pokemon that he loses in the early stages of the game. That definitely makes a lot of sense. And of course, thinking about Air Balloon, very crucial for this Mew. Got to get it out of the active spot and want to get continued uses out of it with every prize card that's given. You know that they're going to be single prizes from now on, so that's at least 2 more uses of this Mew throughout the rest of the game.
Yep, and this is the beauty of this kind of reactive Rapid Strike Urshifu deck. You just kind of see what your opponent is doing, and you react from there. We do see Rescue Carrier can get back 2 Pokemon that have 90 HP or less. And there we go. Energy Press, 2 prize knockout from just this tiny 60 HP Celebi, taking down the big Hoopa V. And now Justin's in the lead. Also is threatening perhaps the game next turn by having the Rapid Strike Urshifu V on the bench. This one's getting close.
Yeah, this is the scary turn because of the Urshifu V being down now. You could think maybe there's a world where this Arceus was able to find a knockout, but no way that's happening anymore. Cards are not available. Double turbo down. It's just damage reducing like crazy.
And there's the Dunsparce. It was in there. And now Parker realizing, okay, I need this. I can't afford another Arceus V-Star getting knocked out because then I lose the game. So we do have Dunsparce now taking away the weakness on all colorless Pokemon in play. So this Arceus V-Star won't be in danger. We do see a Marnie from Parker as well, getting 5 cards, disrupting Justin's hand. And I don't know if Parker was expecting the Celebi, but this is one of the things that in a best-of-3 series, you maybe don't expect that the first time, and then next game you're like, I guess that's something I got to worry about now. How do I play around that?
Yeah, I don't think Dunsparce is going to protect Hoopa anytime soon, unfortunately. Yeah, you have to think maybe the Dunsparce coming out late is just a nod to quick shooting Inteleon in combination with the Medicham. It is one of the easier Pokemon to fall to the wayside, and that is Justin's favorite way of cleaning up matches.
All right. Ultra Ball grabbing another Arceus V. We'll see the Trinity Nova for 160, thanks to the double turbo reductions, and then get that Arceus V powered up on the bench. Kyle, how do you think Justin can go about maybe closing this game out right now? It doesn't seem like there's any immediate way to win, but what's going to be the strategy from here?
Yeah, we could see potentially like strafe on a Dunsparce or something to get a cheap prize or something like that. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes about it, because you don't want to necessarily attack directly into this Arceus and then see a Sharon's Care just handle all of that damage for you. So setting up some relevant damage and then working in that Medicham seems like the most optimal line, and that starts with quick shooting Inteleon.
Yeah, we've seen Yoga Loop already on the stream yesterday, so we'll see if another Yoga Loop comes into play at some point with Medicham V. I think that's one of the most satisfying cards to use if you can ever pull off that extra turn. It's just fun to do. One thing I do want to note throughout this game, Parker does dedicate a lot of space to Crushing Hammer and Fan of Waves, and I think Justin knows this and has kind of been playing around this. Basically, every turn has not put any more energy in play than is needed. So every turn is just, I'm going to have energy exactly enough to do my attack, and then you're probably going to knock this out. So it's making all of Parker's energy removal cards almost blank cards. And that can be frustrating when, Parker's dedicated 4 spots to Crushing Hammer, 3 to Fan of Waves. That's 7 cards in your deck that Justin is basically playing around. And it may just be that that's just how the game is played out. He really hasn't had opportunities to put more energy in play. But it also could be a conscious decision of, I'm just not going to give you a chance to play those cards. And maybe when you play stuff like Marnie, you have to shuffle them back into your deck eventually, and you might draw into these hammers later.
Yeah, it looks like 7 battle VIP passes on turn 4. It just throw them away as early as I can because they're absolutely useless. I'm probably taking a knockout on the active Pokemon, and these energies are also easily recoverable because of the training cord that's played in the deck. So they're just going to come right back. Most of these attacks generally are 1 energy or a Raihan away from getting going.
All right, so we do see Shady Dealings. We did see the Pal Pad shuffle the Raihan back into the deck, so that will be an option for this turn. And Justin deciding which 2 trainer cards to take off of this Shady Dealings. We've got a Raihan once again.
There is an escape rope in hand. That could be the nasty addition that we needed to see.
I don't think there's any easy knockout here, though. Even with an escape rope, the Arceus V can come out. I guess you could bait that out and potentially get with the Galarian Moltres and close out the game that way, if your opponent would send that out. But yeah, you could also have them send out just a single prize Pokemon, go down to 1, and then you can set up for a boss's orders on the next turn. This is where it gets tricky. You have so many options, and this is where you can get decision paralysis sometimes, where it's like, I have access to my entire deck. What do I do?
Yep, this is a lot. And of course, Justin is a fantastic player and will find the right line here. It's just asking so much of him right now to diagnose this situation.
I don't think there's an easy path to victory. With the Dunsparce out there, there's no fighting weakness. The supporter card's already been played, so we won't see a boss's orders. We could see the escape rope, like you said. Yep. Got Scoop Up Net, picking up the entire Inteleon line, so that you can play down the Drizzile on a different Sobble, Shady Dealings. And yeah, Justin's just got to figure out, is there a way for me to win in the next 2 turns? Not going to be this turn, but can I win on the following turn? And what are the ways my opponent is going to try to win? We could see things like Sharon's Care, things like that mess up a 2-hit knockout. So what's going to be this plan over the next couple turns to wrap up the game? One thing that Justin does not have going is multiple Drizzile in play. Maybe something he tries to address here. But without multiple Drizzile in play, you don't have access to those turns where you can quick shooting multiple times. So it looks like we're just going to see Gale Thrust from the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Again, the Manaphy on the bench blocking bench damage, so G-Max Rapid Flow, not an option to close out this game.
Yep, and this puts the pressure right back on Parker now. Parker has an awkward decision of, do I try to work in a Crobat to try to draw into a Sharon's Care to protect this Arceus now, or how do you make this work? And if you do bench that, that's just a pretty easy Pokemon to get knocked out on occasion just because of Choice Belt.
Yep, so I think it may come down here. Does Parker have
Luminion?
Oh, okay. So that can search for the Sharon's Care.
We saw a nod to this with the single energy attachment to the Arceus V off of the Trinity Nova last turn. Held on to a dark energy in the deck. Knew that he was gonna be grabbing that double turbo along with that Choice Belt.
All right, there we do see the Sharon's Care picking up the Arceus V-Star that's damaged. Send up the other Arceus V. Go from here. So last turn, if Justin had all the resources, he could have powered up like Galarian Moltres and had a boss's orders for the game. We'll see if he's set himself up to do something like that on this turn. Or there's a chance that the Moltres is already kind of in the discard pile or in a situation where he just doesn't have access to all the resources. But that does seem like a way to close out the game at this point, combining that with the boss's orders.
Yeah, right now with the boss's orders, Escape Rope, and the Gale Thrust, we're just looking for the Choice Belt. I don't know if he's got access to another one. We've seen the one already for the Celebi. And going to have Inteleon to do that, Mew to help along with it. So if it's in the deck, certainly a line to victory.
Yeah, Luminion V does have just 170 HP, so if you get quick shooting Inteleon, you can quick shooting that for 2 damage counters and Gale Thrust for 150, and that would close out the game as well. Lots of ways to go about it, but it's just a matter of having the right cards at the moment. Yeah. If Justin isn't able to win this turn, you know, that Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX has a ton of damage on it, and you got to think Parker will be able to find a boss's orders to close out the game next turn. Yeah,
I couldn't tell if that one of those cards in hand was a Cheryl, but honestly, I think that Justin's going to be able to figure this out. He's got the Level Ball in hand. That can search out for the Drizzile, which can go for the quick shooting Inteleon. And that should line up to 170. Just depends if all the cards are there. I think I see it.
Yeah, at this point, you also have to factor in, have you used all your evolution incenses? You know, it feels automatic where it's like, I got Drizzile, I can get any card I want. But I've certainly played plenty of games where I'm like, yeah, I'll just search for a card to get me an Inteleon. Oh, I played all of them. Whoops.
Yeah, we see some quick balls left, but no, not there.
All right, got an Energy Search and a Training Court. This may be the turn where Galarian Moltres comes out. I don't know. It's hard to predict what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
it feels like there's so many ways for Justin to win, but if you just are missing the right cards, it can be hard to pull off. I think you're right. We do see Cheryl in hand, so this is an opportunity. Even if you can't win this turn, if you can heal off all the damage, then you can still put yourself in a spot to not lose on the next turn, take a prize card here, and go from there.
Yep. Removing the Manaphy from play too is going to be nice. If there isn't a Crushing Hammer, then that could line up fairly well. You just are going to use that Rapid Strike energy and take a knockout on something on the bench here to close the game out.
Yep, so there we have it. So the Mysterious Tail from Mew. Just grabbing a quick ball. And there is the basic fighting energy onto the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Again, Gale Thrust does extra damage if this Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn or moved into the active spot. So that has been met thanks to the Escape Rope plus the Retreat that's upcoming. So we will see a Gale Thrust for the knockout on Manaphy this turn, going down to 1 prize card. And like you said, Kyle, it is going to knock the Manaphy out of play. So that means a G-Max Rapid Flow on the next turn would wrap the game up. At this point for Parker, what's going through your head on how you can win here? Is it Crushing Hammer time?
That's what I'm thinking. You gotta get through this deck and start to find the right cards. We see just boss's orders. That's not going to be the piece So does find a Crobat, however, so maybe some extra cards in line. Well, the Marnie is going to be a way to do that as well, maybe thinking that Justin's holding on to the right pieces to close this game out. There was an evolution in sets, was that?
Huh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Marnie for 5 cards. Don't see a Crushing Hammer yet. This could be a situation where we see the Ultra Ball for Crobat V. And just going to throw away another Marnie and a Raihan.
Oh, there's one. There's one Crushing Hammer.
Okay. You only need one, Kyle.
There's like 7 cards in deck, and he's going to draw probably 5. So that would be unfortunate. But also put yourself on a clock now, too, because that gives you 2 turns maybe to close this thing out, 3 maybe, but I think we are at that point.
All right, Dark Asset for 5 cards, and I think I see that Crushing Hammer. This could be a game-changing coin flip on this Crushing Hammer, and it's a heads. Woo. Okay, so no option for G-Max Rapid Flow for Justin now. Trinity Nova is going to threaten a game-winning attack on the following turn. And is Justin able to find a way? I think there was another escape rope in deck. So if Justin is able to find that.
I think did he have if he has the evolution instance in hand, he could maybe go for Inteleon Training Court Boss and take out Dunsparce?
That would do it. Actually, no, because Dunsparce is not weak to fighting either right now.
That's cheating. Why can't these Pokemon go away?
So yeah, the Urshifu has to get to the bench.
There's an escape rope again, okay.
Yeah, Parker, I think, saw this coming and put down another Arceus V. So even if there's an escape rope, you would have to pair it with the boss's orders, because Parker would just set up Arceus V. It can take a hit from Gale Thrust. Maybe
there's a line for Clara in the escape rope. You bring the Mew up. You can maybe get that Galarian Moltres lined up.
Yeah, it all depends on what Justin has left. These games are hard to track. You know, there's so many single copies of cards in these Rapid Strike Urshifu decks. It's hard to know what the players have gone through. There's a good chance that Justin had to discard the Moltres at some point. Maybe off a quick ball or something. So who knows if that's available? Who knows how much basic energy is left? I don't know. He was just hit by a Marnie as well. So even though it feels like, you know, you got shady dealings, you got access to everything, may not be the case.
Yep, I do see the Clara there, but of course, who knows what the resources look like. We do see the Galarian Moltres in deck still, but I think there's 2 copies in the deck, so maybe 1 in the discard pile.
Yeah, and I don't think the Training Court got played last turn. I think it was just Energy Search. There's no Training Court in play currently. That is a card he could go grab. But looks like he's eyeing up Escape Rope plus Boss's Orders.
He has a Dark Energy in hand, so if there's...
I don't think he's actually played down the Inteleon yet. It has to evolve before we get to this step.
Listen, we're busy. We got things to do.
We'll get there, but... do have to play that down on a Drizzile.
It's a 6th bench spot. he obviously did not watch the trainer tips video.
There we go. I'm just clarifying that the other Drizzile came into play this turn. So we do see Escape Rope. This should be easily sending up Arceus V. The only thing I would hesitate on is if Parker has no way to retreat that Pokemon. If he's out of Double Turbo, if he's out of, you know, Air Balloon, switching cards, then you can't promote the Arceus V. But otherwise, yeah, it's the thing that has the highest amount of HP. You just have to throw it up.
Looks like Quick Ball is in hand too, along with that Dark Energy.
And I think Justin may need to find a level ball off of this and find a Drizzile and get some way to find an energy and close the game out. I just see a Quick Ball. I don't know if that does the trick. Now there's a Cynthia's Ambition. That's not entirely helpful at this point. This is certainly a confusing end to this game.
Quick Ball discards the Metacham, going for the Glaring Moltres.
Moltres is there. There's only one energy in hand currently, though, so you can't Malevolent Charge 2 this turn. So many twists and turns here.
Yep, just going to have to pass with the Mew.
Wow. So this is the opening for Parker.
The bench is full. We do see the boss's orders, but there's no way to get this Arceus out of the active spot right now, it looks like. And we see the double turbos in there.
It's a 50-50. There's 2 cards left.
Oranguru, do you believe in the monkey?
This could be a game-winning Primate Wisdom.
He missed!
Oh, no!
That's so sick!
Oh, it's the bottom card.
That feels so bad.
Has to pass. Okay, what does Justin draw now? Because he's still not really prepared to do anything.
I think you thin with this quick ball. You hope that Mew can get you there. There's a couple more outs. You see, well, you can only grab items.
Yeah.
What items are left?
None. I don't.
That's bad.
See any items? What? What is this game? Wow. So there was a Cynthia's Ambition.
Yeah, can he
but
thin?
Yeah, at this point, only drawing 1 card. Again, I don't know exactly what's left. We do see the Mysterious Tail. There's no items left. Nothing to grab.
Is there any card that's playable from this point?
I don't think so. I think there may have been an out if you don't grab anything off the quick ball. You Cynthia's Ambition for 2. Maybe you hit an energy plus the training court, something like that. But at this point, nothing happening. 3 supporter cards. Somehow Justin is stalled out in the end of the game here, and we are going to see Primate Wisdom finding the double turbo, retreating into the Arceus V-Star, and there is the game-winning boss's orders. Parker using every last resource to close out game number 1 in a very back and forth, bizarre game where I can't even really explain what happened.
That was incredible. There was everything in that game. We even, after thinking there were going to be no potential fan of waves or crushing hammer things, that ends up being the most important piece of the entire match. And then we get to close out with Oranguru just hoping and praying to rip that card. It's the last card in the deck, but Justin just out of item cards cannot find the resources to close out.
Yeah, that was a wild ride. And yeah, it did end up coming down to a crushing hammer, I think. It only took 1, but that one was the difference. Whew. I know we're deep into the tournament at this point, and both these players have played a lot of games. You know, day 2 can be mentally and physically exhausting when, you know, you've had to play an entire first day. There's always the temptation after the first day to go hang out with your friends and stay up late. And there's always that potential to, you know, wear yourself out and not be kind of mentally prepared for the next day. So, I don't know. Those games are devastating. It's also devastating having 2 energy search prized, but it's devastating to lose those ones deep in the tournament where it feels like maybe there's something you could have done differently. Those are the ones you think back on later and you replay in your head and think, was there anything I could have done to win that game? Because it really felt like I was in the driver's seat, but then something happened and it all fell apart.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you that Justin is not one of those players that goes out and stays out too late the next night. What he ends up doing is watching the stream back, copying every 60 that he sees on stream that ended up making it into day 2, and he plays games nonstop until he feels comfortable with every matchup. It's a level that I just haven't seen players go to, especially on that Saturday night. It's just something you don't see so often. So maybe
wild.
He's overdone it with his Pokemon, but he knows what he's doing.
Okay, well, this is not a good start for Parker. Starts with the Pumpkaboo and just plays a Marnie. That's the first card. So we'll see if he draws anything off these 5 cards. Otherwise, this is going to be potentially a quick one.
All aboard the pumpkin pit. Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Right.
Good. There it was. That was looking bad until it didn't.
Okay, still not a great hand. You got the quick ball. You can find the Arceus V, and maybe you just are happy to leave things there.
Absolutely not. We're going for Crobat.
Yeah, Crobat feels so bad to play down against
It is.
Rapid Strike Urshifu, right? It's just a free 2 prizes at some point. So I can see hesitation. It also feels bad if your only Arceus V gets bossed up and knocked out by a Gale Thrust. So yeah, I don't know. This is not a fun situation to be in if you're Parker.
Yeah, I think Parker's going to end up taking that line that you're hinting towards, just playing comfortably, waiting to see if maybe the top deck has something, because Hoopa is a very valuable card, and he's not going to show it just yet.
All right, so let's see how strong Justin's hand is off the Marnie.
Celebi, Metacham, Dark Energy.
The answer is
no.
not good. Not good at all. Yeah, not even a level ball or a Drizzile. You know, I've played this deck a lot, and this situation comes up way too frequently. Like, okay, my opponent played Marnie. How bad can it be? Like, I have, 3 or 4 Drizzile in my deck. I have 4 level ball. I got Evolution Incense. I got a bunch of supporters. How can I possibly not draw anything? And then you look, you're like, oh, I guess that's how. I'm going to keep calling.
It's like your deck Jolty unlocked you.
Yeah. And now Parker seeing how weak Justin's hand is and also seeing how weak his own hand is, like, all right, yep, it's time to grab Crobat V. He will be able to play down the Hoopa V and draw the full 6 cards off of the Dark asset. And all it's going to take really is Arceus V-Star, and we may be off to the Trinity Nova. Got the Arceus V-Star. Got the air balloon.
Oh, yeah.
Starbirth on the way. And this is going to change very quickly.
Wow.
Ooh, Professor's research to round things out. Not bad.
No need to waste time with crushing hammers. We know what's coming next.
Yeah. Also, maybe one of those times where you don't even need to bother with Starbirth because you just do everything.
Yeah. It's a nice spot to put yourself in. We see Ultra Ball also going to be able to grab that Dunsparce.
Yep.
And that is clean.
Yeah, this is not a spot you'd like to be in if you're Justin. This is one of the trickier parts of this matchup when you don't have any Drizzile in play yet. Your opponent has Dunsparce and Manaphy and fully powered Arceus V-Star. It leaves you with no good plays on the next turn. It's really 2 turns away that you can do something good. Now there's the Crobat V on the bench, so potentially some option. Oh, drawing an Evolution Incense helps.
Hey, yeah.
You can actually play the game now.
There is a Cynthia's Ambition as well. So could help out a little bit. Problem is, you'd like to use a Raihan in this turn probably, but there's a lot going on.
Yep. It's a good way to put it. Parker will take the first knockout. Hopefully we'll take a prize card soon. Still got 6 out there. There we go. And yeah, Cynthia's Ambition. So Pokemon was knocked out. So Justin will draw until there's 8 cards in his hand. It's great to refill your hand, but it's not going to do a whole lot in terms of progressing the board for him this turn. There's no energy in play. There's no good attacks available because the Dunsparce. So this is going to be a rough situation. You got to think Justin's going to be behind a couple prize cards at the start of this, and Parker's got all the defenses set up. Got the Dunsparce to take away Arceus' weakness. He got the Manaphy to block bench damage from G-Max Rapid Flow. He got the Hoopa V to knock out the Urshifu in 1 hit. If you're Justin, what are you doing?
Yeah, this is where usually you see a lot of bench Pokemon. You think, oh, Avery would be a cool card, but there's just 2 perfect Pokemon to remove in that Pumpkaboo and that Crobat, so that doesn't really line up well. You're not going to be getting through that weakness anytime soon. You do have the Grass and the Celebi for the following turn on the Hoopa, perhaps, but this turn is bad.
Doesn't look great. This may be a turn that you just kind of take off.
Yes.
Maybe attach an energy somewhere, hope it doesn't get hammered away, and just prepare for the next turn. And we'll see if Justin's able to kind of overcome this. I think it's a situation where you need to end this turn with a lot of Drizzile in play.
Yes.
So you can set up for quick shooting, maybe the Yoga Loop on the Dunsparce. So you want to end your turn with at least 2 Drizzile in play, maybe a 3rd one just in case, if you can. But you need to be starting to think about how do I close the gap here? And it's probably got to be a yoga loop at some point.
Yeah, we could. Ooh, thinking about losing it now off the quick ball.
All right. And you can clear that back, so it's not the end of the world.
Oh, Mew's a good card.
Except when there's no items in your deck. That is
Mew was less good at the end of game one. That's a fair thing to say.
all right, just the pass. Doesn't even attach an energy card. Doesn't want to play into the Crushing Hammer. And Parker seems to be in full control of game number 2. And oof.
That is huge.
Marnie gonna throw like 7 cards to the bottom of Justin's deck. Some of them were specifically chosen for the next turn. That's why he did put the Mew down, just in case, to have something to promote after a potential Marnie plus knockout. So heads up play there.
Trinity Nova.
We'll see the Trinity Nova from Parker. Another Sobble goes down. And now the pressure is on. Justin needs to start doing something here and starts the turn with a 4-card hand, plus 1 draw here. Gets 1 Mysterious Tail from Mew. And I think it's kind of Evolution Incense or bust at this point.
No, you're right on it. And we do see the Evolution Incense. It's absolutely huge.
Okay, that's a good start. Fortunately, the other cards don't look great.
Yep, this is where you'd love to not have 2 Energy Search priced. Maybe that would help get something rolling here.
Yeah, it's frustrating at times when you're like, all right, I can Shady Dealings for any 2 trainer cards in my deck, but I need 4. This is another difficult situation that you need to find a way to climb out of. And this is where you can see why decks like Parker's have been so popular with Arceus V-Star. It's so easy to get your Arceus out quickly. You know, it's a lot of just get 1 evolution Pokemon out and the rest are basic Pokemon, and you have such a threatening board state with really not a lot of resources, and it really makes your opponent have to answer your pressure very quickly. It sets the bar in the standard format for how quickly or how much time you have to respond in a game of Pokemon in the standard format. So, you know, Parker hasn't done anything super complicated. It's just got Arceus V-Star up and running, got the Dunsparce and the Manaphy, got the Hoopa V powered up, and heck, hasn't even used Starbirth yet. And it's really put Justin in an awkward spot, combined everything with the hand disruption from Marnie, just saying, hey, I know you need to have a lot of cards to do something, so I'm just going to make you have it.
Yeah, Parker has looked so comfortable the entire match, just doing very general things, and Justin has to work his tail off to get there. And we even see now the Hoopa with Assault Gate probably going to be eyeing up that Dunsparce or the Manaphy, likely Dunsparce, trying to soften up this board just a little bit, maybe can find a way to clean up an Arceus. But the prize cards have already started to come by way of Parker's side, and it gets really dangerous when he gets to 3, because then you can't bring out that Urshifu VMAX.
Yeah, this is tricky. I think when I'm playing this matchup, normally I like to leave the Dunsparce there and try to set up for the Yoga Loop, where you can kind of do the Yoga Loop, knock out the Dunsparce, and then hit the Arceus for weakness. That way you don't give your opponent an opportunity to do something like Ordinary Rod or Clara and get back the Dunsparce. But in this situation, I don't think Justin's really going to have opportunities to use Quick Shooting and set up for Yoga Loop. So yeah, you just try to take prize cards where you can. Probably see the Assault Gate on the Dunsparce this turn. And just try to do something. I could see going for Manaphy as well, since that would potentially give you an option for a 3-prize G-Max Rapid Flow down the line. You know, you could take out Crobat plus the Dunsparce or something like that. I don't know. It's going to be a really hard game to win, especially with that Hoopa V already powered up.
Absolutely. Yeah, the prizes is what scares me the most here. Parker just feeling so comfortable and Justin fighting
Ooh.
so hard. Yeah, is he going to have to work through this like Tord did, getting the damage Hoopa on Hoopa?
Okay, another scoop up net and just the assault gate for 90 damage. It's not, a huge attack, but it does set up for a potential 2-hit knockout. This is a situation where you can take the Hoopa out with a Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX on the next turn, and then you kind of feel safe that the Hoopa's gone. There's no way to knock out your Urshifu in one attack, and this is a way you can start to come back in the game.
Of course, time has to be on both these players' minds. If Parker is going to hold on, needs to last another 5 minutes plus a couple turns. Justin has to really start working, so of course, targeting down some V Pokemon makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Parker going to attach the double turbo energy, likely to retreat, and force Justin to have boss's orders on the following turn. I do think this game has a long way to go. I mentioned we have the clock. And oh yeah, Parker hasn't used Starbirth yet, so can just go ahead and grab 2 cards. This could have been a situation where you go for like just a couple boss's orders, knock out an Urshifu this turn, and then depending on how many boss's orders you have left, you can just keep bossing for prizes. Looks like Parker is already committing to retreating, just taking the knockout on this Hoopa and then saying, okay, I got to imagine that the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX comes out at some point. Then all I got to do is knock that out and win.
Right, and if you continue to make your opponent have to have boss's orders to work on that Hoopa V, that's just another piece to the puzzle that Justin has to find every single turn.
Some interesting choices from Parker on the Starbirth. I think one of them was a Path to the Peak. It's one that actually backfires in this matchup. Hoopa's ability is what allows it to become Psychic type. So if you put Path to the Peak in play. Yeah, okay. This actually makes sense.
Yep.
You take it because you don't want it. You're going to Marnie it to the bottom of your deck. So Parker's saying, I didn't actually have a second card I wanted, so I'm just going to take a card that I never want to see and put it on the bottom of my deck.
I know what I don't like. It's like every time that you ask your wife where you want to go to dinner.
And I guess part of what's awkward is you just shuffle your deck with Trinity Nova anyway, so it didn't even matter.
Well, at least it wasn't in the opening, the hand off the Marnie, I suppose.
Yep. All right, so Parker takes another knockout with Trinity Nova, down to 3 prize cards. And Justin, is there some sort of plan in place to deal with the situation that he's in? Again, the Manaphy blocking bench damage, the Dunsparce taking away the weakness on all colorless Pokemon, really limiting a lot of Justin's options on what's available. Also, the threat of the Hoopa V is there. The boss's orders was already played. And a Marnie disrupting the hand once again. So Parker doing everything to keep Justin off balance and just say, all right, yeah, I'm just using Trinity Nova every turn as my attack, but I'm taking prize cards. I'm limiting your options. What are you going to do about it? Yeah,
it's honestly enough, and it doesn't feel like Parker's really accomplished much. But then you look over at his prize cards and it's like, oh, geez, this is getting too close to the finish. Justin is going to find that Drizzile if the boss is available.
It's already been played, so he needs to Pal Pad and then boss's orders.
Don't know if there's a secondary searching effect. I'm assuming if you're going for the Pal Pad, maybe that is available. But we did see the Rapid Strike Energy along with the VMAX in hand.
All right, Pal Pad did receive a Rata in Sword and Shield, so now it's up to 2 supporter cards.
Scoop up net.
Did you play Peonia or? No, that was another card I was thinking of getting.
So yeah, Pal Pad just opting to choose the 1 supporter card, shuffling boss orders back in. So the scoop up net, another Shady Dealings, and yeah, there we go. He pulled all of it off. Got the Pal Pad to shuffle the boss orders back in. Get the boss orders back out of the deck. There's the VMAX, there's the energy. Got the air balloon to retreat, and all right. We do see the first prize cards taken by Justin with the Gale Thrust. The unfortunate part is now there's no more boss's orders.
Yes.
And Manaphy's still sitting there, so there's no way to really knock that out. There's no way to really get to Parker's bench at this point. So all you can do is kind of punch whatever Pokemon's in the active at this point.
Also, you have to continue to heal because if this VMAX falls, you lose.
Yep. Not the greatest situation. Although for Parker, just a Trinity Nova and no backup Pokemon. So this could be an awkward spot as well. There's no secondary attacker powered up.
Looks like Justin top decked the escape rope. What a clean card to find here.
Okay, and we do have confirmation that time has been called and Justin is turn 0. Which unfortunately does not seem like it's going to be going well for Justin. He would have to take 4 prize cards in 2 turns, and again, with no boss's orders. I mean, maybe there's potential for a Yoga Loop at this point.
It's in the discard pile, but there are ways to get it out. But yeah, this is that's a lot.
Okay, there's the second Drizzile. This turn we're going to have to see Cheryl or a second Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX from Justin.
How does Yoga Loop work with the time rules?
The way you want it to. You get to take another turn.
So you can steal their turn 2 or something?
Yeah, so if you're turn 2 and you Yoga Loop and get an extra turn, you're also turn 3.
That's so fun.
Yep. All right, so we'll see if there's any magic Justin can pull off here. Looks like just a Bird Keeper was taken. I think, again, those energy search being prized is devastating for Justin.
Definitely.
And yeah, it just has to pass. So with time being called, you got to think this is probably going to wrap it up. Parker is up 1-0 in the series and doesn't have to win this game if it just is no conclusion. It'll end with a 1-0 in Parker's favor, and he would advance to 10-2 to 30 match points. We are going to, continue to play this out, see if anything happens. Right now, it does look like Parker is certainly in the driver's seat to win this match against another Rapid Strike Urshifu deck and keep on trucking with those crushing hammers.
Yeah, what a place to be, too. 30 points with 2 rounds to go. It has to feel so amazing, too, taking down 2 amazing names on stream. Of course, don't want to count Justin out just yet, but this looks like a pretty tough situation to get out of.
I agree. So we did see quick ball for an Arceus V, just getting a secondary attacker powered up at this point. And there's the Trinity Nova taking down the Drizzile. Just 4 single prize knockouts so far for Parker. And no energy taken off the Trinity Nova. What can Justin piece together here?
I think he said pass.
Yep, that'll do it.
Yep.
So Parker Lish will take this match and move on to 10-2 here at the Vancouver Regional Championships and 30 match points in an excellent position to get into that top 8. And don't think many people want to play against this deck. There's lots of stuff you're okay playing against, and Crushing Hammer is still a coin flip, but if there's ever a deck you play against and you're just like, I really just don't want to have to go through that, it's the guy who's got 4 Crushing Hammers in his deck.
Yeah, please leave me alone. I think maybe Ice Rider Calyrex is the only thing that's going like, yeah, sure, go ahead.